I'm glad you're joining us. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Meeting follow-up, anything from last week's meeting anybody needs to chat about? Any questions? Staff? Okay. Next up on the item is the city or council packet and IT demonstration. Zulima.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. So this actually is a meeting follow-up item, but we decided to take the opportunity after a great discussion last week about lengthy packets, large packets, and the challenges that council has been having with getting packets downloaded and navigating all of the information that there is to navigate. We thought we would take some time today to revisit that topic with council, walk you through some of the tools, the technological tools that are available to you to help navigate that information, and then open it up for questions that council may have about the reason why we include certain things in the packet, as well as take any direction that council might have if you have additional homework or would like us to consider, a new or different way to compile packets so that they are as usable as possible for you. And so we'll start with some members of our IT team, Miranda Huss and Brian Pride. We'll start with a demo of some of the tools that are available, and then we'll move into kind of a Q&A.
Perfect. I'm Miranda, and this is Brian. I'm sure you see here more often. I thought I would launch the demonstration up here and talk a little bit about it, and then that way Brian and possibly Michael, if need be, can walk around and also help hands-on with a way that we recommend that you work with packets. It's not the only way. And you might notice I've also pushed out Adobe Acrobat that some of you might see that install onto your iPads here shortly, depending on when you turn that on. But we wanted to show you the easiest way that we have found to work with those packets. Go ahead and click share. Good thing you're here. We're changed. It like updated right before. Right.
You need to call IT to help.
I know, right? It's funny because it like just finished updating and I'm like, wow, that was timely. Microsoft, thank you so much. So many of you get the links via your email, but you can also go to casperY.gov and find the meeting packets this way as well. So if you click on the link, it's going to take you directly to this, but we'll go ahead and take a look. First, like this is covering up some of the buttons that I needed. Go to government, agenda, council, agendas and minutes. This is where you can find them if you're not looking through the link that is pre-shared with you. I think it'd be, this is just a work session, correct? Mm-hmm. So in this particular session, you can click on your packet and it's going to load up your packet. Now, some of you may have just been working off of this particular view, but it can be cumbersome because you're having to scroll a lot. What we recommend is that you click this little, in the top right hand, there's a square with an up arrow, send to, and we recommend that you open it in the Books app. Once it's launched in the Books app, you'll see like I already had last week's agenda already preloaded. So you can have multiple agendas at your disposal, but you can launch this. This actually allows you to scroll through actually like a book. And it allows you to highlight and make notes directly on here so that you can, more easily notate maybe things, consolidate where you're making your notes and versus where this is on the packet. And more importantly, as you see some of the buttons at the top here, there's on the top left hand, there's some 3 lines, the 3 dots up top here. If you click on that, it's going to give you bookmarks or highlighted items for easy navigation to quickly go to different subjects. So if you wanted to say fast forward ahead and go straight to the memo for that Sage Park, it's going to automatically take you to that page instead of having to scroll. What page number are we working with? You can kind of go back and forth really easily through these different bullet points. So this is where we thought if you need some hands-on, make sure that you're able to launch up here.
Because Brandy.
Exactly. Sometimes it's easier to do with your, do it through hands-on.
Yeah. How do we get back out?
And you can see here, if you click like the little pen at the top, you have the ability to pick pens or highlights. You can make those notes, but even if you choose not to do your notes that way, if you're old fashioned like me and like to do them pen and paper, you can at least be able to scroll through this just like a book. Instead of, and you have those bookmarks. In the case of last week's very large packet, that would have been very helpful to be able to go to those bookmark tabs and be able to just look at those headlining items, go straight there. One other item might be a nice little tool to show you is if you have a page up that you want to mark for your own purposes, you also have the little flag at the top right hand. You can flag it. And then you can also see your flagged items right next to your bookmarked items. So that's just a little tool as well if you feel like you want to flag something for your own reference as well. And you can just kind of go back to it, the little flag to unflag it if it's not quite what you were wanting. But this is just an easier way of navigating these very large packets of information that you'll need. Like I said, this isn't the only way. This is just the way that we found to be easiest on you and work best with iPads. If you have a way that you already like to use it, feel free to continue. Just give you some tips and tricks. Anybody have any questions as they're launching?
Questions
Hands-on.
for Miranda? or
Yeah,
Brian?
I got a whole bunch. He's helping.
Oh, good.
I also created just a 2-page tutorial that I will email out to you with some pictures so that you can just maybe refer back to it if you wanted to play with this a little bit more, because sometimes tinkering with it helps you get used to it a little bit easier too. So, and of course, IT, we're willing to do one-on-one times as well if you need a little bit more of a tutorial.
Got that, Pat?
Pat and I
He's
have met.
come with us. He's come to our
Yeah,
building a
not
few
with me.
times.
Why didn't you take me with?
We're here to help. So if you have any questions or if you find any hiccups or difficulties, let us know.
Okay.
Yep, Kyle.
Excellent.
Right.
Thank you.
I got a question for you.
Kyle has a
Miranda.
question.
I don't use an iPad, so not as relevant, but it's great functionality. I really like that the budget usually has the table of contents, and I really appreciate that the budget usually has that functionality. Question, I'm not looking to add to staff's workload or anything. In an ideal world, it'd be great to have that table of contents at the beginning of every packet for general public that don't have our iPads, for them to eat, like, I'm sure there's people that have wanted to learn to read a memo or something, and they open up a 500-page packet and they're like, well, I'm not gonna waste time trying to find it in that. So it'd be awesome if we had like a table of contents. Is that like
I do
something?
believe that Amanda's worked on just within Adobe itself, creating a table of contents or those bookmarks. And that's available within Adobe, and Adobe Reader is free to the public. Might just check to see how that functions when the public downloads that.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Okay,
I think she's aiming to make it easier on everybody trying to navigate those large packets. So.
Cool. Other questions? Thank you. I think they're always open. Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
To get to the bookmarks, go to the top left where there's like 3 lines with 3 dots next to it. If you tap that, that should give you essentially bookmarks or the highlighted titles so that you can click on each title and it'll take you straight there within the packet. No problem. And I'll also fill out some tutorial too. Okay.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks, Miranda.
Here, I would just like to add, and I want to make sure that IT confirms that I'm not spreading misinformation, but I believe that if you're on a laptop or a desktop computer, you actually have access to the bookmarks from your web browser. It's just unfortunately on the iPad, you have to actually download the document to get access to those bookmarks. But for the general public, if they're looking at it on their laptops or desktop computers, they should be able to see the bookmarks within the browser.
Yes, Adobe just has like a slightly different way of viewing those bookmarks. They're usually, I think, on the right-hand side, depending on your version of Adobe. And even Adobe Reader, which is free, you should be able to see the bookmarks that Amanda has worked to put in there. So I'll double check for everybody to know.
Anything else?
CX.
Awesome. Thank you guys for coming. Appreciate the demonstration. Historic Preservation Commission grant. So
Thank you, Mayor. So we are coming to you this evening with another request for your permission to submit a grant application. This time the grant would be for the Wyoming State Historic Preservation Office, the Certified Local Government Grant Program. We intend to use the grant in conjunction with our Historic Preservation Commission to support hosting the 2026 Wyoming Historic Preservation Conference here in Casper. And so, Mayor, if it's okay with you, I'd like to turn some time over to Nick Whips to give council a few more details about what the grant will help to fund and answer any questions that council may have.
Nice to see you all. So encapsulated essentially what we are planning on doing, but in my time overseeing the Historic Preservation Commission, it's been just about a year. One of the reoccurring themes and discussion points was this conference, this Wyoming State Historic Preservation Conference. Fun fact, it had been on a hiatus for up until last year, where Laramie hosted this conference. And we've been working very closely with Katie Leeper. She's the CLG coordinator and historic preservation specialist for the State Historic Preservation Office. And then Megan Stanfill, she's the executive director of the Alliance for Historic Wyoming. And they have come to a few of our Historic Preservation Commission meetings and have been talking about this conference and how we can collaborate with the state and with the Alliance to put on a worthwhile conference that will bring a lot of folks invested in historic Wyoming here to Casper. And that excited us immensely. And they walked us through this grant. And, this grant, as you can see in your packet, is the state sets aside 10% of their funding for things just like this. This grant in particular requires a 40% local match, which may be provided through cash or in-kind contributions. And we worked really closely with our Historic Preservation Commission, Katie and Megan, to figure out and quantify what those in-kind contributions would amount to ensure that we would meet that 40% match requirement as required by the state through this grant, which you can see in the memo as well. With the conference, last year it was in Laramie, and in conversations with Katie and with Megan, there is a push to have it localized. In Laramie, reports that they told me they had around 50 attendees. They feel like hosting this in Casper would see anywhere between 75 to 125 folks from across the state that are involved in historic preservation in some way, shape, or form coming to Casper to be involved in this conference. And we think this will be a catalyst selfishly for years to come. We want to be a host for this conference, and we think it's very valuable. And that's why we're bringing it forward to you. As you can see, the grant funding is for just under $24,000 with just under 9,500 local match to be provided through those in-kind services specifically. And with this grant, there will be conversations about best practices in preservation planning, funding and grant opportunities for historic resources, community engagement and heritage tourism, case studies from CLG communities across Wyoming, and then, with any conference, networking and collaboration opportunities with professionals from across the state. So with that, I guess I put it back to you for any questions that you might have specific to this grant or specific to the conference that we're hoping to host.
Questions? Jenna? No, I'll get you back.
Sorry, I think I found it slated for October 26th.
Yes,
That what
that is correct.
you said?
And that was in talks with, once again, Katie and Megan in our Historic Preservation Commission as far as timing. The one in Laramie was in June, but they felt like having it later in the year would warrant more people coming through. Instead of having it over the summer, they felt like a lot of people were out of town and things like that.
Yeah,
Where in that October timeframe, they felt like we'd have more participation.
so that's good. I'm not sure where that falls, that conference within. I think we'll have plenty of hotel rooms with all the ones being built right now, but I just wasn't sure where that fell with the sports and
And so, and
hotel
that,
occupancy.
and we haven't specified a specific 3-day window in October yet. The idea, and then we would start working out the specific details to ensure that we're doing the best of our ability not to conflict with other events that are going on. So we purposely didn't identify specific dates yet because we want to.
If I can say one
You
more
bet.
thing. So I just want to say that that Casper is amazing, who could be an amazing host city for this event. When we did Octa, we hosted Octa here, and I want to say that was, don't quote me, but 2021 or so. In Octa is the Oregon California Trails Association. They brought a lot of people in, and we did tours and stuff. But just Casper around here has so much historic preservation that I feel like they would get there a lot more than they would in other cities, just because we have those trails that come through here, and a lot of the Western migration started here too, as they went west. So it's really good, I think.
So, Nick, I noticed 40 hotel rooms for 2 nights. So what is that expense for?
So per the grant requirements, we needed to give them an estimate of the cost associated. So we reached out to Ram, Coda, and Best Western specific to their nightly rate, and pulled those numbers together to come with the 40 hotel rooms for 2 nights at $8,800, that $110 room per night number. So it was due diligence on historic preservation's part, along with, once again, Katie and Megan to pull those numbers.
So I guess I'm a little confused. So wouldn't, if I attend, I'm a member, wouldn't I pay my own room?
That is correct. And Pat, I would have to get you a better answer on that. I don't want to misspeak on that number and why it's there. But I can definitely follow up and get you an answer there.
Yeah, Mayor. I will absolutely let Nick confirm, but generally speaking, those would be rooms that we would comp for instructors and other helpers to put the conference together.
Speakers.
Other questions for Nick? Direction? Is everybody okay with moving forward with this grant application?
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Nick.
Appreciate it.
All right. Sage Park Arboretum.
Thank you. We are very excited to talk to you tonight about our plan for the Sage Park Arboretum. This is something that you've heard about actually a number of times, but we've had some counselors come and ask for additional information as well as a lot of questions from the public. And so we thought a work session would be a great opportunity for staff to give you some more details about what the plan is for the Sage Park Arboretum. You will likely have observed that there is some activity going on in the park, and I think that's what's prompted some excitement and some questions about it. So again, Mayor, I'd love to turn some time over to Nick and particularly Katie Halleck, our supervisor over urban forestry and weed and pest, to give you some exciting, fun details about the Arboretum.
Awesome.
Mr. Mayor, Counselor, thank you again. Like Selena said, we are stoked about the Arboretum at Sage Park. We absolutely are. And I'm going to after I give you just some brief details, I'm gonna give it up to Katie, our park supervisor, certified arborist, and just local awesome individual to kind of walk you through it. But we were notified that we were selected for the award of just under $35,000 through the Community Trees Grant, through the Arbor Day Foundation, funded by the Enterprise Mobility Foundation. And assuming the contract or award is acceptable to both parties, this grant will allow the Parks Division to take a meaningful step forward in our commitment to stewardship education, community education, and an awesome space for growth and for our community to enjoy. So with that, I'm going to bring Katie up.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, Mayor, Council. Thank you so much for having me tonight. I have to say, I'm very excited about this. You know, with what happened with Branch Across Casper, as I had mentioned at the time when that it had been discontinued, I promised that we would be actively looking for additional urban forestry grants. And in January, the Urban Forestry Division was contacted by the Arbor Day Foundation regarding a potential funding through the Enterprise Mobility Foundation for a community trees grant. This grant presented an exciting opportunity for the Urban Forestry Division to achieve one of its long-standing goals, the development of an arboretum. For those of you unfamiliar with the term, an arboretum is a type of botanical garden dedicated to the cultivation, study, and display of a wide variety of trees and shrubs. We applied for this grant in February for just under $35,000, like Nick stated. During the 2024 master plan study, one of the key recommendations for Sage Park was to establish an arboretum at some point in the future. On September 30th, just 2 weeks ago, the Arbor Day Foundation informed us that funding had been approved through the Enterprise Mobility Fund for a project this fall. So not a lot of time. On Wednesday, October 22nd, the Casper Parks Division, in partnership with Enterprise and several community volunteer groups, will plant 79 trees and shrubs representing a diverse range of species at Sage Park. This project will have a lasting impact, enhancing the park's beauty, promoting biodiversity, and creating a living educational resource for the community and for generations to come. So, you know, one of the great things about an arboretum is it gives you an opportunity to experiment with different types of trees and shrubs that a lot of people may not be familiar with. And I know that there's a lot of interest within the community of trying different types of trees and shrubs. We have a lot of honey locusts, Kentucky coffee. We have a lot, some native trees that we know do really well here, but it's not common for us to see a big diversity, the kind of diversity that we really think that we can have here. And so this is going to be a great area. I'm really hoping to see the school district use this arboretum and really, an opportunity for kids to learn a lot more about what can be grown in Casper. And not to mention this is going to be beautiful for Casper. And I think that Sage Park, it's a high visibility area. The fact that this is completely funded by the Enterprise Mobility Foundation is very significant. And I'm so grateful and excited for this opportunity. I know that, I know in the Parks Department, we've visited for several years about this kind of being a dream. And so, I am just ecstatic about it. And I wanted to bring my excitement here to share that with you tonight and answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions for Katie or Nick? Yeah, no, I get you.
So I drove by there by chance last week sometime, noticed a lot of stakes in the ground, and I was like, and when I saw the packet, I was like, well, it's got to be what this is. So number one, so I guess it'd be to the side of the trail that comes down through there. Is that all private property, or is there a triangle there that there's no trees in?
So, you know, what you're looking at, if you guys have this Sage Park, this is the most recent photo that we have of the park. And in this photo, you can see that the playground that was unfortunately burned down, you can still see remnants of that on the bottom of the map. And so that is actually turf grass now. And the new playground has been placed on the west side of that trail you're talking about. You can kind of see a dirt patch there. It's right under the legend there. So that is actually city property. That's part of the park. And we now have a shelter right up there on the west side of the path and a brand new playground. And so at this time, we're not going to be planting any trees up in that area just for right now. However, we do see in the near future planting some trees there, but we wanted to make sure that all the construction was done for that before we place some new trees there.
And just to follow up, so this looks to me like a drainage area from up above, and it filters down through and then heads across. I think that'd be 15th and then 12th again. So will all these, I don't know the last time that area flooded or overflowed, I guess I should say, but so will all of these species be able to handle?
Yes, I did do some research. That was a great, because that came to my mind too. I thought, how often, if we had a really heavy rain in June or July or something, is this going to wash the trees out? And apparently it does not flood bad enough through there that the trees should be able to handle it just fine.
Jenna.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think here. So we get to choose these plants?
Yeah, I worked with a few different nurseries and some professionals because I wanted to make sure that we were going to put trees in that had a really good chance of surviving.
Yeah.
Obviously. So yes, I did work with some different people on this.
Yeah,
choosing.
I like them, being a plant person that I also am. I just had a couple questions though, being that it's a park. One, didn't really like the description of the Ohio Buckeye.
Okay.
So maybe look at that, you'll know why.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that one brought up kind of raised an eyebrow. But the other ones, there's a lot of fruit, which is amazing. Like, I think that's great for interpretive purposes and wildlife that'll come clean it up. But my concern is with all of the pine cones, the seed pods, the fruit that are going to be dropping in the fall or whenever they, when they drop. Did we think about that part of the cleanup
Yes.
and the extra, because it's not just mowing the leaves or anything.
So, Counselor, what you're going to find is a significant part of this park is going to be mulched, and it's also going to have these, you can see the paths that we're making throughout it.
Yeah.
And so the maintenance of that, generally, we're not going to have the pine cones and a lot of the fruit for quite a few years.
Right.
However, we have planned for that, and we understand that there could be some additional maintenance because of that. However, when you look at a lot of our other parks, we have parks that have a lot of trees and a lot, our cemetery has a very wide range of trees in the cemetery. Also City Park, we've added a lot. And so, I don't have great concern that it's going to be very messy. Nothing that we can't handle.
No, I think the variety, it's going to be beautiful, like all seasons.
Yeah,
You know, and just the colors and stuff, which is another interpretive aspect about it that is just gonna be amazing for schools and the pathways that you have through there. I really like it just because I'm pro get the kids out in nature.
Yeah.
You know, so I think there's a lot of opportunity here and I hope that, you know, school districts, daycares and places take advantage of it.
So Liam had something to add.
Counselors, I would add to that, that I think this unique space will create opportunities for volunteerism that could get people really excited about contributing somehow to keeping it clean and well kept. And so I think as the trees mature and we start seeing some of the fruit bearing and other cleanup needs, I suspect that we will have a group of folks in town that will be happy to help contribute.
Oh,
to
yeah,
keeping it
all the
maintained.
canners and jam makers,
Yeah.
come get your jam. For the apples and berries.
This team has gotten pretty good at coordinating volunteer activities to help us.
That's
in
great.
parks.
Here, I have one more thing.
Yeah, you betcha.
Another key component to this is going to be, we will have interpretive signs at the trees. However, because we're a little bit limited on time right now, our goal for this fall is to get the trees in, get the trees mulched, get them staked, secured for winter. And then next summer is when you'll probably start to see some of the interpretive signs come in. So I don't want there to be an expectation that those are going to be up right away. That's going to take some time to get those. So.
Thanks, Mayor. Thank you for the presentation. Really stoked on this. My question is, how mature are these trees that we're installing next week? I mean, are they like little baby saplings? Or are they more like adolescent trees? I'm just wondering, like, how fragile they're going to be over the course of the next years. And
Sure. So if you look at the handouts here, under each of the tree species, you'll see the quantity and then the size of the actual root ball. So for example, the sucker punch choke cherry is going to be a 2.5-inch tree. So generally what we're going to be looking at for the planting is between 15 to 25 gallon trees. So these are going to be, I mean, these aren't saplings. These are going to be significant trees. A lot of our trees are going to be ball and burlap. And so there will be some bushes and trees that are going in that we can literally just dig the hole with a shovel very easily. But this is going to be a big project. It's going to be hard work. And so I know a lot of times when Arbor Day will mail you trees, mail citizens trees, you're looking at saplings and these are not going to be saplings. These are going to be, we could have 6-7 foot trees. So that's what's so cool when we get them in. It's like, it's going to be beautiful, right? When we have them in. So
So I'm thinking more along the lines, sorry, can I go?
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm thinking more along the lines when you did the curb planting or the tree, that, what was it called?
street tree program.
Yeah, the street tree program. So
Yes.
they're like more along the sides of those, which
Exactly.
I took advantage of that as well. So are you guys going to, because I know I had to backfill dirt and I'm not sure what the soil type is in there, but I'm sure you guys have all figured that out and the drainage and adequate.
Yes, exactly.
Because some of them. Cool, I'm excited.
And the great thing is there's already irrigation in Sage Park. And so we're going to be able to, maybe make a few adjustments, but overall that's a huge expense we're not going to have to incur. So it's great that that's already there. So
we know where those water lines are.
yes, yes.
That would be important.
I love it. I'm excited to see the colors and
So
community engage.
you answered a couple of my questions right there as far as irrigation. It is helpful to know where the water lines are. You can call before you dig. But on here, and so I'm assuming these are going to be even at 2-inch or 2.5-inch caliber, then they're going to be susceptible to the winter. But so I'm assuming plans are in place to wrap them, and then also are we looking at putting any kind of deer deterrent as far as chicken wire?
Yes. Yes. Thank you for mentioning that. So each tree will be mulched, and then we will have wire caging around each tree to deter, wildlife from chewing on the bark, especially when they're young. It's really important to, kind of have that barrier there. So yes, and then we are looking at putting in a couple of frost-free faucets in the park, because we will be hand watering these trees throughout the winter. When temperatures are above freezing, it's going to be important that we're out there watering them. And we have a water trailer we can use also. So yeah, we've thought through the details of all that.
Other questions?
Exciting.
Sounds good. Very cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for the
Awesome.
update.
Yeah,
Appreciate
you
it.
bet.
Looking
Thanks
forward
for
to
your
seeing it.
support. We're
Thank you.
excited.
We all straight on volunteers. We heard.
We're still working on it, but yes. You guys should be receiving a link tomorrow for what the registration's gonna look like, but we're well on our way, so.
So we can like share publicly and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The
Thank
calls.
you.
Thanks, Katie. It's good to see you. Thanks, Nick.
We'll use and abuse that hyperlink.
Okay, agenda review. Just really quickly, I just wanted to, after discussion with staff, talking about having a work session the week of Thanksgiving in lieu or having during Veterans Day. Am I correct in saying that? So staff would be closed on Veterans Day to take that day. And we would, in exchange, we would do the work session that Tuesday of Thanksgiving week. So my question is, if people plan on being here, are you amenable about that? Thoughts?
So I didn't follow. So on Veterans Day,
Staff would take it.
not do a work session,
Correct.
and would
And
we,
then we would do that of Thanksgiving week on Tuesday. But Zulema said there are some other options too that we can look at.
so would we have a regular meeting on the
Sorry. Could you
18th?
explain them a little bit better, would you?
Let me help you.
Thank you.
Okay, so our regularly scheduled would be on the 11th and on the 25th. So the 11th is Veterans Day. That is an observed holiday. So the city of Casper offices are closed. We assumed that you would want that day off. And then the 25th would be our other regularly scheduled work session, which is the week of Thanksgiving. Last year was the first year that you guys took that week of Thanksgiving off in quite some time. And so we just wanted to make sure that you understood, because the 11th was a holiday, we could skip that work session altogether, or we could adjust the date to Wednesday or even Monday. I think Wednesday would be the staff preference. Rather than skipping, if you wanted to keep a work session that week, and then you could decide what you wanted to do on the week of Thanksgiving, either skip or have it on the normal Tuesday.
Basically what I said, Kat.
Yeah.
Sounded just like
Totally what I got.
Good, good. That's what I
I'm
wanted
in
to make
favor
sure.
of a
I should have
Wednesday.
just thrown it to you in the first place.
I'll
What'd
say
you
I'm in favor of a Wednesday, just push the work session to a Wednesday after Veterans, because Thanksgiving week, it's nice to have that planning for those of us that cook.
Others?
So
Either way.
Wednesday, the 12th, that's during Business Alliance annual meeting down in Laramie. That Wednesday would be. So I haven't looked at the agenda close enough of Wednesday, the 12th. I also have Amico reuse that at 6 o'clock that I was figuring on dialing in, but
On the 12th.
on the 12th, yeah.
Other thoughts?
I'd schedule myself for a presentation on the 12th, but I'm sure it can be moved if that's where we want to go with it, but it doesn't really matter to me at all.
We ever done a Monday?
Yeah, I mean, we've done Mondays before. I mean, that's another option, is to do a Monday instead of the Wednesday.
I think Zulema was saying that makes it really tough for city staff to prep and get,
Oh,
I know my Mondays are hectic, and so I can imagine.
Good point, yeah.
I personally don't mind Jenna's suggestion to just push it to Wednesday and potentially look at taking that thing, I'm the baker in my household, so I need all that extra time to. Okay, but I would prefer to have the day off during the holiday week, personally. I'll tell my wife I said I was.
She's online. She already texted
No, she's
me.
not.
No,
I know.
she does not.
So a Wednesday, to push it to a Wednesday is okay with everybody?
12th.
The 12th. Go ahead and just do that. Yes, go ahead.
So just so I'm clear, we move the work session from the 11th to the 12th and then skip the work session altogether. The week
On
of Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, yeah.
Perfect.
Is everybody okay with that?
So it'd still be at 4:30.
Yeah, for the work session. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Should have just punted it to you in the first place. I thought, I'm gonna help Zulima out with this. All righty. Anybody else for agenda review?
Well, while we're on that subject, what are we looking at Christmas?
Generally for Christmas, when we look at it, I know we haven't gotten there quite yet, but generally we don't meet the week of like the 23rd for Christmas is generally what we've done in the past. I'd make that recommendation again.
So a fifth Tuesday month, so that would be 2 weeks in a row.
I need
Just push it to the 5th Tuesday. What's the 5th Tuesday?
the 30th.
What's that? I don't know.
The 5th Tuesday is the 30th.
Staff think. Yeah, go ahead.
Mayor, I think we're happy to take direction from council.
2 weeks off.
Yeah, we can. Angela, Merry Christmas.
And Happy New Year.
Or we could certainly skip the week of
We'll
Christmas
pay
and
for it.
move it to the, that's the desire.
So skip the 23rd for Christmas and then come back and do it on the 30th. Is that what you said, Kyle?
Be my personal preference.
Yeah,
But I'm
I like that.
pretty open-minded.
Amber?
Yeah, I can tell, if we keep it the 23rd, I won't be able to make it if we move to the 30th.
You'll be able to. Okay. Yeah, and obviously we know that if, it's the week off, obviously of New Year's and something comes up and you're out of town, just let us know, but we'll just plan on the 30th if everybody's okay on that. And we'll skip the 23rd.
Okay. So when do you take up doing leadership? I mean, when does,
Generally, we start talking about it in November. And then usually that first week in December, I'm kind of going off of memory here, but we then do the actual vote
okay,
straw poll
in early December?
in early December to give staff time to get that all taken care of for them. So, and I don't know if we have any dates set yet. No, okay, nothing's set yet, Pat.
Okay.
Okay, anything else with the agenda?
Giving Pat his fair warning, we're gonna have a 500-page packet next week. To catch you off guard. Oh, that's a lot of stuff on consent. I know.
Do you have anything you want to add to the agenda review, Zulima?
Yeah, now we're all straight.
No, we have.
Not a problem.
All right, council around the table. Can we start with you, Kyle, this time?
Had WAM board meeting last Wednesday and Thursday in Pinedale. We welcomed a lot of new members that were elected to the board at our summer convention. There was a lot of meat to the meeting. I won't cover everything, but we went over some recent financial audits. The organization is performing very well under Ashley Harpstreet's leadership. Sponsorships, revenue, all other metrics, all trending in a positive direction. She was able to bring Rock Springs into the fold, which had been a goal of WAM for a couple decades. So all 99 municipalities now fully represented as part of the group. Matt Hall is no longer our lobbyist as he has been appointed to interim city manager in Rollins. So we dragged Bob McLaurin back out of retirement very quickly. Gave him a few months off, but drug him back. And so he's helping us out from like a legislative lobbying effort on that front. Got a presentation from 3 Elephant Marketing in Jackson about how local officials can use social media to improve community engagement. They recommended we don't get in the comment threads, so I had to pretend like I wasn't in the room for that. Kyle Butterfield from Riverton. I don't know if you've been seeing. I confirmed that y'all should be getting the emails, but he sends us really great Region 4 Legislative Leadership Committee updates on a monthly basis. So it might look like spam or other stuff that you're used to seeing, but I would keep a lookout for WHAM emails from Kyle and just all of them in general. But I really like what Kyle's been giving us in the way of updates as far as what is being worked on in the interim. It's all of the legislation that WHAM has agreed that we should be tracking for cities and towns, and he gives us updates on where they're at and who they're meeting and stuff like that. It's really good, informative stuff. And then, as always, WHAM is interested in local electeds testifying and lobbying on behalf of cities and towns. So if you have an opportunity to do so on any of those bills that we're tracking and are, paying attention to, I would encourage you to reach out to WHAM staff for their assistance, our city staff. I think the mayor was going to testify on some gaming stuff here in the near future. So,
Do that today.
oh, you did that already? Look at him go. So yeah, they are always looking for people to help testify because it goes a long way when local electeds are, testifying to legislators. I don't know, Amber, if you made it to the last MPO meeting, but I read their meeting minutes, and it looked like as part of the Robertson Road Corridor study, they had at least entertained the idea of a roundabout at the intersection of, what is that, Poison Spider and Robertson. I've brought up the traffic congestion issues since the opening of Wyoming Classical Academy. From what I got from the minutes, it didn't sound like it was a super popular option.
Never is.
Never is. I think it's the best option.
Yeah,
I mean,
Totally.
Fully agree.
okay, well, it's settled. So we're doing a roundabout. Yeah, right. I don't know.
Starts reading.
Right, I know.
If they can handle Buc-ee's, come on.
Yeah. I mean, I was disappointed to see that it didn't look like it was received well because a street light doesn't make much sense because then you're gonna be sitting at a red light in the middle of nowhere at 8 PM on it sounds to me like the most efficient, and so I guess I'll let that run its course. And I don't know what is that, would we install it? Like, is that a Mills thing? Is that a us thing? Who would be responsible for retrofitting that intersection?
Mayor, Counselor. I'll have to find out because I'm not 100% sure if it's within our
Yeah.
city limit or theirs. I'm not 100% sure on the location of where they proposed that roundabout.
Robertson Road, a highway, state highway.
I do not believe that it is.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
And
I would,
The roundabout would need to be big enough to handle semis because there's quite a few that cut down through there. For whatever reason.
Well, there's one way to stop them.
right? Go Gandalf on him, man. He shall not pass. Yeah, so I guess looking forward to an update on whether that's city or Mills or who's responsible for that. And I guess, again, I don't know if the corridor study's done yet, but yeah, looking for an update on the corridor study and what the recommendations are coming out of that. And then lastly, Hogadon will be hosting a Sip in the Sky elevated wine experience this Sunday at noon. Sounds very cool. Charcuterie board, wine pairing, relaxing music. I'd encourage you to check that out. There's also going to be an upscale Halloween event for adults on the 24th, I believe. So Hogadon hosting some cool, nice events up there. I would encourage folks to check it out, see if it's something you want to go to. That's all I got.
Thanks, Kyle.
So Wednesday, the 8th was the first lunch, and I'm sure Jenna will give a better recap of that. Wednesday night, I had Amico reuse, and so they're really digging into the financials on the restaurant and golf course activity, and so I think that'll be a good thing. Trying to get it to try to break even. And tended to advance Casper. I had a small reception for membership at the refinery. And if you haven't been to the restaurant, it's a tremendous view at the Three Crowns Golf Course. And Friday night, the Toronto County Republican women had their wreaths across America event and decent turnout. Saturday, I want to apologize to the mayor. I had really got my notes locked up or screwed up on dates and time and place of the Shine the Light event. And I understand you gave a great speech.
Thank you. It was great to be there.
So, and hopefully you'll update us on
I
that.
will. Yep. Let me come around.
And went to the school board meeting last night on behalf of myself and sat there and listened and didn't make a comment. This morning, downtown Casper Business Association meeting at 8:30. They'll have their trick or treat from 10 to noon on Saturday, the 25th. And then Meals on Wheels in conjunction with one of the car clubs is doing a trunk retreat. I think that's 11:30 to like 1:30. I guess the mall's doing something. And yeah, I think that's kind of it. And don't forget the Science Zone. Their treat trail is Sunday the 26th. So
Still looking for sponsors. If you're interested.
already sent my check.
Love
Thank you.
Brandy.
I just went after Pat. I'm good. I like this room. Let's do it this way. No, I don't have anything. Thanks.
Thank you. Jenna?
Yeah, I didn't think I had anything either, and then he put the chamber luncheon on me.
All the stress.
I know. Oh my gosh, I got luncheon to talk about. It was last Thursday. Is that when it was? Did the chamber luncheon, and it was Annette Pitts with Visit Casper that came and spoke to everyone. She just talked mainly about their Tourism Keeps the Light On campaign and the benefits of it and the value of hospitality and tourism in Nechota County and Wyoming. So that's what she did. She hit on some high points and let us know too about the rooms and how the tourism fluctuates here in Casper. And so she had mentioned that I remember one of the slides is that they're trying to fill like January and February is like a really slow hotel tourism time here. So if there's any events, they're really looking to boost some events and things to get in those months to kind of make that line go more flat instead of low and then back up. So they have another campaign going on that's called Faces of Tourism. People can be involved in that. You just are used in their promotions, campaigns and signs and things like that. But yeah, centered around tourism and doing our part here in Casper to build it, and they'll come. Tourism is a good thing for Casperites. And then they come, we get nice things too here and makes the city more livable for us. Right, Pat?
Yes.
Yes. So that's it.
Michael, do you have anything? Thank you. Yeah. Amber.
Okay, Kyle, there's an MPO meeting coming up this week. The vice mayor is going to attend as my alternate.
We'll tell them that we like that round.
But yeah, I would mention public comment until October 29th. So since you're a resident of the area, I invite you to participate in that process and put a plug in for the roundabout. Because I do not believe it's getting a lot of love. That public meeting was September 30th, so it's been a couple weeks, but there's still a couple weeks left to go. If you do have input on that. And then I went to a Parks and Rec meeting at the municipal golf course. So we mostly talked about golf. We heard from the Ladies Golf League, golf course itself, the 19th hole restaurant. Got updates from all of those folks. Generally speaking, they reported a lot of good growth this year. So they had more 18-hole rounds than ever before after they switched up the tee sheet, which I don't know what that means, but they did that and it worked well for them apparently. Season pass sales were up 21% over last year. So, and then driving range sales were up 55% after installing the sort of like a vending machines opportunity to kind of pay at the point of use there rather than having to walk all the way back to get more balls. And so that's gone really well for them as well. And then we also heard from the Spuds and got a really nice update from them. You should see their packet and information from the golf folks in an info packet forthcoming. I think last month's meetings were just in this info packet, so it may be a little while yet, but the Spuds put together a really nice presentation about their long-term plans and where they see themselves in this community into the future. And so I would definitely draw your attention to that. It'll be pretty and purple when you start scrolling your info packet in the coming weeks. So look for that packet. Same owners that the Spuds have had for the last, is it 2? They've been here 2 years. Yeah.
I thought they changed hands.
No.
But, well, they bought out their partners. So they had more partners and now it's just the 2. They are the 100% owners now. So didn't totally change hands, but it is now 100% owned by the local couple that was of the ownership group originally. So doing some really great stuff, and they put together a really nice presentation with some cool information in it. So take a look at that when you see it come across in your info packet. And then we received a lot of updates from Parks and Rec Department about various projects, which I think you've actually gotten recent updates on most of them, so I won't go too deep into them, but again, it'll be in your info pack, or if you have specific questions, let me know. This week, I'm gonna miss MPO, and I have LGBTQ advisory on Friday. And so I'll update you on that next week.
Vice Mayor.
Don't have much, just thank everybody for their condolences messages for our emergency trip to Brazil. Appreciate the thoughts and prayers, and glad to be back. I did enjoy Brazil.
I just have a couple, as Kyle mentioned, I did do a testimony today, public comment for the Select Committee on Gaming. It was in reference to 26 LSO 0145 proposal. And basically, I won't go into too deep with this, but basically what it is it kind of just gives local approval for simulcasting in reference to like historic horse racing, machines, et cetera. Because as you know, right now, it's the county commission and the counties that have the most say within that. And so this proposal would give us a little bit more local control within the city of Casper, since we utilize our police department, we utilize a lot of the gaming systems are here in the city. And so give a real quick one. It was good. I think the mayor of Mills was there as well, and a couple others. So it seemed to go very well. If you want more information on that, please let me know. There's specifics as far as how that works within the miles of where we would be able to do that, et cetera, that I can give you more update on that as well. Questions? Yeah.
So was there in that legislation, I haven't looked at it, as far as the revenue split?
No, there's no. Yeah, it was a good debate. I felt like there was a lot of support around it, and I think Senator Kolb was very supportive of it, and you can see that. So it was good. Yeah.
Also, something for WHAM, going back to WHAM, this
Yeah,
next
please.
session will be the first time that WHAM and Wyoming County Commissioners Association are holding a joint event. So that's a testament to, it's always been a very kind of hostile, maybe that's too strong of a word, but just not always played well together. So I'm glad to see Ashley is
working. Well, that was actually one of the questions they asked me. They only asked me a couple, but one of the representatives asked me that, said, well, so the county commission is going to have the ultimate say and override you anyway. So, you know, what's the point of this bill? And what I had said is I think we need to continue in our political environment for us to continue to work together and collaborate as a county commission and a city entity. So I think that was an important distinction that I made, and there was no follow up with that. And so letting them know that we need to work with the county commission, associations, and the municipalities, association, municipalities, and us as well. So
Jamie Lee?
she's the co-chair of that. Yep.
Chair?
Yep.
Okay. Is there
She did a really nice job.
were there anybody else from Natrona County on that working group?
I think Jamie was the only one.
Okay.
Yeah. As far as I can remember, I don't know if you guys knew anybody. No. Breakfast, or I have a breakfast of Council of Governments this week. So we'll be doing that, speaking to county commissioners, so we'll be seeing them. As Pat mentioned, I did give a brief comment at the Shining the Light event that they had on Saturday night. Is very, it was a small turnout, but it was a really good opportunity to talk about school violence and talking about the violence that does happen in general related to families and so forth, those that are affected by gun violence. So it was really good to be able to be a part of that. The press was there, so I'm glad that they were able to at least represent that and get the word out that this is happening. So
I didn't get there until 6:30. I mean,
had it wrapped up by then.
yeah.
I had to leave something. They got me on there right away, so it was good. Yeah, it was really nice. I'm not going to say a lot today, but I intend to hold my comments more directed next Tuesday. In recent, as far as I was on, obviously Facebook is Facebook, but when we had that article on Oil City that was brought up about the applications for the LGBTQ advisory council, I was very dismayed by the comments that were on Facebook and the amount of to me, that were disgraceful. And so I'm not going to say anything much now because I don't think a work session is appropriate for me to do that. But I intend to make a statement about that and how disappointed I was in seeing that type of overt, and I'm going to say that very, very blatant, overt bigotry that was on Facebook from the community members, many of who I know personally. And so I intend to make that. Just want to make you aware that I tend to talk about that in respectfully, but making a statement how disappointed I was with the statements of outright discrimination for individuals that deserve dignity, respect, compassion, and love. So
I'm not on social media at all.
Should be, it's fun.
Thank God.
yes,
It's great.
just stay,
Great discussion.
just stay off of it, Pat.
I do not recommend.
So,
I didn't even see this.
but so is that in reference to the city's Facebook or?
No, it was an article because application. I know Amber
Right,
sits on
I
the
saw that in Oil City.
Yeah.
and so they opened up the application process as they do when seats are open on the council. And Oil City did a wonderful article on it saying, hey, applications, people that are welcome. And unfortunately, I went down the rabbit hole of the comments, which I shouldn't, but to me, it just was not indicative, I think, of the values that I think the city of Casper should hold in cases like that. And if you read them, you'd be quite shocked.
I think it was best summed up by the guy that said the comments are the reason why we need this committee.
That was probably the best, one of the best
Comment there.
statements.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, anything else for the good of?
Just in case you didn't see it, Governor Gordon came out with really good I had not seen it. But it got sent to me in on the radiant and nuclear. So, and I thought it was very well done, and he didn't pull any punches. So.
All right, thank you. We do have an executive session tonight. Shouldn't be very long. No less the kiss of death when I say that.
No, always appreciate it when you lead with that.
And now call the October 14th, 2025 special council meeting to order. All members are present. Yes, sorry. Chair to entertain a motion to by, no, not it. Any abstentions or nay votes? Never mind, we're not doing that.
Like, are we there?
I'm batting 100 today. I'm so sorry, Zulema.
Like, oh, wait a minute.
I am so sorry. Notice of an executive session to take place at this date and during this meeting was given. We have matters to discuss regarding personnel and litigation. Therefore, the chair to entertain a motion to adjourn into an executive session. And at the conclusion of the executive session to reconvene the special meeting solely for the purposes of adjournment of the special meeting. Moved by the vice mayor, seconded by Pollock. There are a majority of members present and a motion to adjourn to an executive session has been moved and seconded. This motion requires 2/3 majority of the council present. Any abstentions or nay votes? All voting aye, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. A greater than 2/3 majority of the council present voted in favor of the motion. We are here